Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi Rosh HaShanna Chaf Aleph. We begin right on the top of the Amid. Levi iklala Bavel. Levi visited Bavel. B'chatzar b'Tishrei. On Yud Aleph Tishrei. The day after Yom Kippur. According to the count in Bavel, they figured it was the 11th day of Tishrei, post Yom Kippur. Amar, he declared, "You're eating today? Basim, it is tasty. Tafshila, the dish, the food, the cooking, the Bavloi, that the Babylonians are enjoying today. B'yom Rabbah de Marava. This is Yom Rabbah, this is Yom Kippur of Eretz Yisrael, meaning in reality, you're a day off. Because Elul was really a 30-day month. Everything was bumped ahead one day. And today, you think it was Yud Aleph Tishrei after Yom Kippur. This is Yud Tishrei, it is Yom Kippur. What are you doing eating today?" Now, Tosfos has two pshatim. How is it that Levi could arrive in Bavel on that day? One pshat, that he was within the range, within the tchum at that point. So he just came walking to the city. According to him, it was Yom Kippur. According to them, it was after Yom Kippur. Or according to the first pshat in Tosfos, that he arrived on Erev Yom Kippur, right next to, right before Shkia, and he sees they're about to sit down for a meal, and he says, "What's going on? It's time for Kol Nidre. You're about to enter Yom Kippur." No. So they were in a dilemma. What should we do? We finished the whole day of fasting, but you're telling us that it's really today instead of yesterday. Amri, they turned to him, "Asid, did you testify? Is this something that we have to rely on?" Amar Lahus, he says, "No. Lo shamati mipi bezdin mekudesh." Actually, I never heard the bezdin declaring mekudesh hachodesh. I'm going to learn on Amud Beis that when it comes to the two Chadashim of Nisan and Tishrei, he has no authority to publicize the exact date of Rosh Chodesh unless he actually hears that formal declaration by Bezdin, Mekudesh HaChodesh. Going to see on Amud Beis the reason for that. So true, he himself, Levi himself, had to observe today as Yom Kippur because he knew for a fact that the month has been arranged in this manner. He came from Eretz Yisrael, he knew it for a fact. But as far as they're concerned, they don't have to follow his lead. And Tosfos brings a Gemara that Atem afilu shogigin afilu meizidim, that the Bezdin, the communities, could follow along their track, even if it turns out they're false, they're making a mistake. Hashem gives them the authority, the permission to just follow their calendar. In this case, the Bnei Bavel were following a certain system which was already in place from the previous months, and unless they hear otherwise, via a formal confirmation from Eretz Yisrael, they don't switch their system. Yesterday was Yom Kippur, not today. So he fasted that yesterday. He's going to fast today. They fasted yesterday, him today. Continues the Gemara. Machriz Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda announced. He taught as follows. An interesting halacha. Kol heicha de motu shluchei Nisan. Whichever town is within the range of those shluchim being sent out from Bezdin after Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So they can be sent out right after Rosh Chodesh. Go tell everybody. Go publicize to the outlying communities. Rosh Chodesh was today. They send them out. They can travel until Pesach, minus the two Shabbosos, the two actual days of Shabbos, on which they cannot travel. So it's a total of, it's 14 days till Pesach, minus 2 days of Shabbos, 12 days of traveling. So any city that's within that range, which would find out on which day to observe the Pesach. But they're out of bounds for the Shluchim by Tishrei, because keep in mind, when the Shliach was sent out from Bezdin, Tishrei time, he can't travel Shabbos, he can't travel Rosh HaShanna or Yom Kippur, so he has less days to travel he won't get that far. So you can have a case where a city will be within range of the shliach traveling Nisan time, but out of bounds for the shliach coming to tell him about Tishrei. So what about those towns? Come Pesach, they know with accuracy on which day to observe that Yom Tov. But come Sukkot, they're going to have to do 2 days Yom Tov because of the suffix. The halacha is le'avdet treyomi, they should keep 2 days Pesach as well. Why? What do you mean? We know for a fact on which day Rosh Chodesh Nisan was established. Gzeira Nisan to Tishrei, there's a Gzeira. One on account of the other. They might actually do 1 day Sukkot as well. So we keep it plain and consistent. You keep 2 days Yom Tov, whether Pesach or Sukkot. Let's go down to Rashi, around 5-6 lines down. So you have a place where the Matu Shluchim Nisan, says Rashi, Shebezdin Sholchan L'Goyla. Bezdin sends out emissaries to the Goyla, to Golas, to Bavel, etc. Loidia Yom Shekitshu, to inform them on which day they will Mekadosh the Chodesh. V'chol Mashem Yecholim Leilach Ad Pesach. They travel until they get to Yom Tov. So as many days of travel available to them from Rosh Chodesh to Pesach, they travel. V'chein b'Tishrei at Sukkot. Likewise, by Tishrei, travel until they have to stop when Sukkot arrives. Chutz m'Shabbos, if you have them Tovim, you have to deduct Shabbos days and Yom Tov days. Shelo nitnu l'chalal l'shluchim, because shluchim, these emissaries going out to inform the public, are not allowed to be Chalal Shabbos, to go inform people about Kiddush HaChodesh. Kedetanu Perkin, as we're going to see later on Amud Beis, Al Kri Asam Atam Mechalal. In order to establish the Yom Tov, the Chodesh, you can be Mechalal, meaning the Edom can travel a great distance to get to the Bezdin so that they can be Kiveh the Rosh Chodesh on its proper day. We learn from a pasuk, Asher Tikro Isam B'Mayad, even on Shabbos. That's on the way into Bezdin, but not on the way out. You have to mechal al kliyumam. You cannot be mechal Shabbos to enable the outlawing communities to observe the Yom Tovim properly. It doesn't justify chilul Shabbos. So the shluchim can travel, but they have to stop Shabbos or Yom Tov. Turns out that the shluchim nisan can travel farther than the shluchim by Tishrei. Why? Sharei ein yomim tovim ben time la'agvam. Nisan time, you have 2 full weeks minus the 2 days of Shabbos to travel. Ubetishra, as opposed to Tishrei, Yesh Rosh HaShanna, V'yom Kippurim, Shein HaShluchim Hoichem Bayr. The Shluchim traveling out on Tishrei have to deduct Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah. They have to account for that, and they can only reach a certain point, which is not as far as their counterparts traveling during Nisan time. So in those towns, they have to keep 2 days even for Pesach. Even though they got clear news exactly on which day Rosh Chodesh Nisan was established. And they know today is Pesach. No. If they're going to have 1 day Pesach, they might do the same when it comes to Sukkot on Tishrei, even without having accurate knowledge of what happened regarding Rosh Hashanah. Could turn out they'll make a mistake by Sukkot time. And therefore, we keep it consistent. These fellows always keep 2 days Yom Tov. Continues the Gemara with a story regarding Rabbi Avoy Ban Nagri and Rabbi Chia Bar Abba, who were Talmidim of Rabbi Yochanan, who taught this halacha, that a town which is out of bounds of the Shluchei Nisan has to keep 2 days even though they're within reach of the Shluchei. They're out of bounds by Shluchei Tishrei. They have to keep 2 days Pesach, even though they're really within reach of the Shluchei Nisan. And what happened was they came to this town, Iklu Lahu Asra. They came to this place, which had that very phenomenon. Dahava Motu Shluchei Nisan. That town was within reach of the Shluchei Nisan But out of bounds for Shluchet Tishrei. Va'avdi chad yom, come Pesach, they kept one day. And these Talmidim didn't protest. Shamar Rabbi Yochanan v'ikvid. Rabbi Yochanan heard what happened. His own Talmidim didn't oppose the minig amakim. V'ikvid, he was upset. Amar lahu, he tells them, Lav amri lahu, didn't I tell you? That's not the proper way to do it. Heichad amato shluchei Nisan, a town which is within the boundary of the Shluchei Nisan, v'lo amato shluchei Tishrei, as opposed to out of bounds for Shluchet Tishrei, li'avdu t'rayim, you'd have to keep 2 days even by Nisan. Gzeira, Nisan, not Tishrei, on account of Tishrei. Rava have a yiragel, davi yaseh b'tanisa t'rayim. Rava was machmer, and he used to keep 2 days Yom Kippur. We keep 2 days Pesach, 2 days Shavuos, 2 days Sukkot. Rava added that halacha to Yom Kippur as well. And Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah actually bring such a shita that the Bnei Chutzlaritz, who don't know on which day Rosh HaShanna was established, it keeps Sveika D'Yoma, even for Yom Kippur. It brings the shitas or Zerah. We don't do that. Why? Because it's too dangerous. And the Chacham were not machmer. They did not obligate us to keep 2 days Yom Kippur. It did happen once in history. They had Talmidim in Mir Yeshiva who had to escape through Japan, Shanghai, and there was a question as to the exact positioning of the dateline and exactly on which day to keep Yom Kippur. And there was Chazon Ish, other shitas, and some. So they say some actually kept 2 days Yom Kippur, 2 days in a row. Machmas HaSafek. So Rava was machman himself. Rava have a rugel. He was accustomed to have a Yosef B'Tanisa. He would sit and fast 3 Yomi, 2 days Yom Kippur. And actually, Zimna Chada. So it happens that one time, Ishtachak Chavase. Turns out that he was right. That everyone fasted on the wrong day, so that justified his practice. Rav Nachman Yosef B'Tanisa. Kula Yomi. So it happens Rav Nachman fasted a whole Yom Kippur. Kula Yomi de Kippur. Lu'urta, towards evening, Osahu Gavra. This fellow came along. Amar Lei and tells Rav Nachman, you know what? You're off a day. I happen to know that L'machar, tomorrow, the next day, is the real Yom Kippur. Yomer Rabba b'Marav in Eretz Yisrael, they keep tomorrow's Yom Kippur. They fast another day. Amar Lei, Rav Nachman responded in exasperation. Now you come the last minute, I'm about to break my fast. Me'echat, where do you hail? Where do you come from? Amalei, he says, Midam Marharia, that's where I come from. Name of the town. Amalei, Rav Nachman responds in frustration, you know what Damharia means? It can be learned like this. Dam teheyachrisei. Dam haria. Dam teheyachrisei, referring to himself. Dam, he's going to die from this type of double fast. Kari Alei of Nachman applied to himself the pasuk in Eicha. Kalim hayu reitfenu. Our reitfim, our pursuers, had an easy time catching up to us and subduing us. So he was pretty frustrated about what happened, but it would seem that he actually kept the 2-day fast. And even though he was really only 1 Eidecha, there's also belief when it comes to these matters. The Gemara later tells us that the Kiddush HaChodesh news is something which is going to be publicized. It's midi davida legluye, and something which will become public knowledge. A person has no reason to lie and to falsify. Therefore, he had nemanos. He had to keep the next day as well. Now it appears this fellow actually heard Mekudesh HaChodesh himself from the Bezdin, and that's why he had the authority to pass on the word, as opposed to the case all the way up with Levi, where he admitted, he says, look, I know that it's Yisrael they observe tomorrow, but I hadn't personally heard that formal confirmation, that formal declaration issued by the Bezdin. Therefore, in that case, the Bnei Bavel did not have to follow his lead. Continues the Gemara with an interesting concept regarding Ibur HaShana. When to establish a leap year. Shalach le Rav Huna bar Avin, he sent a message l'Rav. Kadchaz is the mashcha, tkufas teves, ad shitzer b'nisan. When you notice a year where tkufas teves extends all the way ad shitzer b'nisan until the 16th day of Nisan, you know it's too far gone. Abra lahi shata. You have to make that year a shana muberes add a month to the lunar calendar, a second Adar, which will realign the years, the solar and lunar, with each other. I'll soon explain what this means. And he continued, don't be concerned that perhaps this formula follows the das of a yachid, of shitas achirim, sechas Sanhedrin, but it's not something which is agreed upon by other shitas. No, the chsiv, it's based on a pasuk which says, Shamoy es chodesh Aviv. Hashem tells you, rearrange your months in a way that the chodesh and the Aviv go together. Shamoy Aviv shal tkufa. Ensure that the Aviv season of the tkufa, shehei b'chodesh Nisan, should fall out during the first part of chodesh Nisan, when it's still new, when the moon is still growing. It has that newness to it, the chiddush of Nisan. That's a time when you should have the tkufas Nisan of the solar year start. Now Rashi explains like this. The solar year is split into 4 tkufas, 4 seasons. You have tkufas Nisan, spring season, which the pasuk refers to as Aviv. That's when the crops ripen, that's when the grain ripens. Tkufas Nisan of the Chama, of the solar year. 3 months later, Tkufas Tammuz, summer. 3 months later, Tkufas Tishrei, fall. 3 months later, Tkufas Teves, winter, which extends all the way till Tkufas Nisan. Typically, sun and the moon are not really aligned. The solar year is 365 days. The Shnas HaLavana, lunar year, 354. So as we proceed with the years, the lunar keeps on pulling ahead. And that's why you have to make an Ibur HaShanna, to have them catch up to each other. You add another month. By doing so, you're delaying the Nisan by that month and allowing the solar year, so to speak, to catch up to the lunar year. That's the point of Ibur HaShanna. Now, it's always going to be a bit off. Do you make a leap year every year? No. Only once we get to this point, where the 2 cycles running side by side, lunar and solar, are so misaligned that a Ibur is required to reset the system. What's the breaking point? Breaking point is like this. Shamar es chodesh Aviv. Rearrange your months in a way that the Tkufas Nisan, when we speak about Tkufas Nisan, that relates to the solar year. The solar spring season should start at the latest, somewhere in the middle of the Chidush HaLavana, which is the first 14 days of Nisan. But if it starts on the 15th day of Nisan, which is beyond the concept of Chidush HaLavana, once you get to the middle of the month, newness is gone. It's already a full moon, and it starts receding and getting smaller and smaller. So Tkufas Nisan of the Chama, the solar system, Aviv, springtime, has to fall out, has to start in the Chidush of Nisan, somewhere during the first 14 days of Chodesh Nisan. Now, if Tkufas Teves extends all the way until 16, as the Gemara says, Mashcha Tkufas Teves ad Shitzer b'Nisan, which Rashi explains to mean that the next Tkufa, Tkufas Nisan of Chama, of solar, started on 16, so it meant until, but not including 16. 16 was the first day of Tkufas Nisan. So really, you're a day off. You're a day too late. Because you're actually 2 days off, because you're way beyond 14. It should have started on 14, starting on 16. In this case, you have no alternative but to add a month, to make Ibur HaShanna, to realign the systems. But, says Rashi, suppose Tkufas Teves only goes until 15, which means Tkufas Nisan started on day 15, although you're really off. You're a day too late. You're beyond the 14 range. But in that case, you don't need to make Ibur HaShanna. Just add another day to Adar. Ibur HaChodesh is enough to extend Adar by a day, which allows the solar system to catch up that one day, in which case the Nisan of the solar system will only begin on Yudalit, which is fine. Perfect. So that's what he meant. Let's just see the words again. When you notice a year with Tkufas Tevis extends all the way at Shitzer Ben Nisan until 16 of Nisan, in which case Tkufas Nisan starts on 16, you have no alternative but to make Ibra Shana, a Brolo Yishaita, add a month to realign the system. Don't be concerned, it's based on a pasuk, Shomer Chodesh Aviv, which we learn to mean Shomer Aviv Shal Tkufa, arranged that the Aviv of Tkufa, meaning the solar spring, Shehei B'Chodesh Nisan, should start somewhere during the Chidush of Nisan, the first 14 days. Continues the Gemara. Amar Lahu Rav Nachman tells Lahanu Nechuse Yama, those who are spending time at sea travelers, who are not aware of the calendar setup. How are they going to know when to keep Pesach, when to get rid of their chametz? Atun de lo yad'isu b'kvir diyarcha. Out there at sea, you're not going to get the messages from Bezdin. How are you going to know when the Chodesh was established, on what day to observe Pesach? I'll give you a formula. Hichazitu sihara. When you notice that the moon, the mashlam, means it finishes its circuit. He starts to set liyayma as soon as daylight arrives. So sunrise brings about the moon setting. Then you know you smack in the middle of the month. Bi'iru chamira. Get rid of your chametz. Why? Because at the beginning of the month, you have the sun, and the moon lags behind the sun. But as we proceed, the moon orbits around the earth. And towards the middle of the month, they're exactly opposite of each other. So then when the sun sets, the moon rises. And when the sun rises, the moon sets. So you know exactly midway through the month. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? Emas mashlam. When does this happen? B'chameser, at 15. It's too late. Va'anan me'arbeisam avarinan. We get rid of chametz on 14, not on 15. L'didhu de megalilu alma. Those people at sea, whose horizon is so clear and open, marbeisam mashlam. For some reason, this hashlama, meaning the setting of the moon at the point of sunrise, happens a day earlier. Perhaps the Gemara means because of the immense sunlight. They're so exposed to the sun. As soon as the sun rises, they're so blind, and this effect happens a day earlier than in your typical place, inhabited areas where we're not so exposed to the open horizon, in which case it takes a bit longer for the sun to have that shining, blinding effect. So in their case, they'll stop seeing the moon at the point of sunrise a day earlier than us. So even though it's not perfectly aligned, but as soon as it gets close to sunrise, it starts getting really light and bright, and they'll be blinded to the point that they won't really be able to see that moon. It will appear to them like it's set, even though perhaps it didn't really set. So that effect will happen already at the point of Yud Daled, which is perfect for Biur Chametz. Okay, so we spoke about the story of Levi, who visited Bavel. He told them their day off regarding Yom Kippur, but you don't have to follow my instructions because I hadn't heard that formal declaration in the name of the Bezdin. Rabbi Yehuda tells us a Chiddush, a place which is within reach of Shluchei Nisan, but not Shluchei Tishrei. They always have to keep 2 days. We had the story of Rava, who was machmer to fast 2 days Yom Kippur. And we concluded with the halacha of Shomer Aviv Shal Tkufa, Shei B'Chodesh Nisan, and the tip for the fellows at sea. Continues the Mishnah. Al Shnei Chadashim Mechalin Es HaShabbos. The Edom who noticed the new moon, and they're on the way to Bezdin. Can they travel through Shabbos? Yes. They're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos, to go testify before Bezdin. But only for the following 2 months. For the following 2 Rosh Chodashim. Al Nisan Al Tishrei. That's it. So coming to testify regarding the new moon of Tishrei, fine. Rosh Chodesh Nisan, fine. What is unique about these 2 Rosh Chodashim? 2 reasons. First of all, Sheben Shluchan Yotzin L'Suri, we find that these 2 Rosh Chodashim have uniqueness, in which case there are only 2 months in which we send out Shluchim to Syria to tell the outlying communities regarding the new month. We will expound on this. So that shows how unique these 2 Chodashim are. And that's why we allow Chilul Shabbos on the way to Bezdin. Ubehen Masakrin and so many others. Number 2, all the Yom Tovim are dependent on the accurate establishment of these 2 Rosh Chodashim. So they carry special value, and therefore Chilul Shabbos is justified. Now, this is Bizman Hazeh. But when the Beis Hamikdash was standing, Mechal and Afal Kulan, the Edom would be Mechal Shabbos to go to Bezdin regarding every Rosh Chodesh, that they know exactly on which day to bring the Korban Rosh Chodesh. Says Rashi on the top line. Masnissen, Al Shnei Chadashim, Mechal and Shabbos, Edom Shiros HaChodesh, Edom who had a sighting of the new moon, they keep Mechal Shabbos to arrive at Bezdin. But only regarding Nisan v'Tishrei. Why? Shebem Shluchim Bezdin Sholchan LaSurya, Lo Yidia LaGoyla, Yom Kippur. Only by Nisan v'Tishrei we send out Shluchim to tell everybody the Yom Kippur of Rosh Chodesh, Hilka Chashiva. That gives them special value. Says Rashi, really, Umin HaTorah Mechalin Al Kulan. Min HaTorah, you could be Mechal for every Yom Tiv on the way to Bezdin, to go and form Bezdin. Aval Rabbanon Asr. But there's Issa de Rabban. Chacham did not allow Chilul Shabbos unless it's really crucial and important. Because other than Nisan v'Tishrei, the other Yom Tovim, the other Rosh Chodashim are not really crucial. They have no Yom Tovim pending on them. We don't care that much if they're a full month or a short month. Al Pi Eden, do it according to Eden. At the end of the day, it'll all work out anyways. As opposed to these 2 months, Hemidim al Din Torah, Chachamim applied the Din Torah, allowed Chilul Shabbos to enable a proper, accurate establishment of these Rosh Chodashim. Shekol HaMe'adas tluim b'hem, because all the Me'adim are dependent on them. During the time of the Mikdash, they would do this every Rosh Chodesh. This way they know that the Rosh Chodesh and the Korban Rosh Chodesh is in line with the lunar calculations, the right time, with accuracy. Continues the Gemara. What do you mean? Shluchim were dispatched only for Nisan v'Tishrei? What about that Mishnah we just learned a couple of days ago? Al Beis Shluchim v'Suloi, Al Beis Chadashim v'Suloi, the Shluchim only sent out for these 2 months? V'Raminu, what about that Mishnah? Al Vav Chadashim v'Shluchim Yotzim. Shluchim would go out for 6 months. Each month had something depending on it. So the Rosh Chodashim had to be told, to be publicized. Amar Abaye says, Abaye, you're right. Hachikama, the Mishnah only meant like this. Al Kulan, regarding the other Chodashim, Shluchin Yoitzin Mebe'erev. When Bezdin decided on Rosh Chodesh, they would send that Shluchim the following night. Al Kulan Shluchin Yoitzin Be'erev. Regarding the other Chodashim, the Shluchim would be able to go out even the previous night. Meaning, let's say they know. Everybody sees, look, it's the 29th day of the month, but they see clearly, there's a moon shining. They know for a fact that tomorrow will be Rosh Chodesh. See, Bezdin cannot be Mekadosh at night. There's halacha, they have to wait till the morning. But everybody sees clearly, this is going to be the Rosh Chodesh. So the Shluchim could leave town. That's it. There's enough knowledge there. And they could rely on that and go, be mafars and publicize, tomorrow will be Rosh Chodesh. Or in a case where you know it's already day 31. So 30 days are passed. It's the night between 30 and 31. You know, it's not going to go past 31. A month could either be 29 or 30. Rosh Chodesh can either be on day 30 or 31. It's already the night of the 31st. They can leave town, tell everybody that tomorrow's Rosh Chodesh. Even without actually hearing a formal announcement coming from Bezdin. As opposed to Al Nisan Val Tishrei and Sheishmu Mipi Bezdin Mikulish. When it comes to these months, they were crucial months, which affect the Yomim Tovim. And over here, they cannot leave town. The Shluchim have to wait until the next morning when they hear Mipi Bezdin, the words Mikulish. Tanya Mihachi, we learned likewise in the Brisa. Akulon Yoitzin Be'erev. Typically, they can go out mi Be'erev without hearing the declaration of Bezdin. As opposed to Al Nisan Val Tishrei, Ashi Yishmu, Mipi Bezdin Mikulish. They have to hear Mikulish outright declared by the Bezdin. No, so how does this pertain to our Mishnah? So firstly, we addressed that stira. Of course, the Shluchim would send out Al Vav Chadashim, not just 2. the Mishnah says that the shluchim would go out al shnei chadashim on Nisan v'Tishrei, the Mishnah meant they have to wait until morning when it comes to these 2 months. These 2 months were unique. Since the Yom Tovim were dependent on them, we don't allow them to leave town unless they hear clearly Mekudesh HaChodesh. Now the Mishnah presented this fact as the reason for why the shluchim would be mechal Shabbos on the way to Bezdin to come inform Bezdin that they saw the new moon. What's the connection between one and the other? Explains Rashi like this. The fact that the shluchim on the way out of Bezdin have to wait until tomorrow. So any delay in the arrival of the shluchim to Bezdin will generate another delay regarding the departure of the shluchim to the Golus. For instance, today is Shabbos. A fellow saw the new moon. So if he's not Machal Shabbos, he waits at home until tonight or tomorrow. Comes to Bezdin, tells them about the new moon. They declare Mekudesh HaChodesh. At that point, and only at that point, can we send out the shluchim to Babel, to Golus, to tell them about the new moon. Tell them about the Rosh Chodesh. But if he's allowed to be Mechal Shabbos, and this fellow who saw the moon on Shabbos can come running on Shabbos itself and tell us about it, Bezdin's going to sit down right then and there, be Mekadosh the Chodesh. And now we could dispatch these emissaries that very night. So what's the gain? Very simple. Let's travel much further. We'll have another night of traveling. So those communities really at the border, at the perimeter of that boundary, that 14-day boundary between the Yerushalayim and the Golus, will be zoicha to find out exactly on which day Rosh Chodesh was established. They'll keep one day Yom Tov. Again, if the Eidim don't come today, and not Machal Shabbos on the way into Bezdin, rather they wait till after Shabbos, it's going to delay the departure of these shluchim until tomorrow when they hear Mekudesh HaChodesh, because they can't just speculate on their own. Well, we know tomorrow's going to be Rosh Chodesh. No, they have to listen. They have to Achiyishmu Bezdin Mekudesh. There's a halacha. They have to hear clearly that Mekudesh declaration. Only then leave town. So this delay on the way into Bezdin is going to bring about a delay on the way out to Bezdin. And therefore Chacham said, when it comes to these two Chadashim, where the dispatch of shluchim is dependent upon the Bezdin declaring Mekudesh, we hurry things up, we expedite the procedure, we allow the shluchim, we allow the Eidim to come running to Bezdin even on Shabbos. Now why indeed do the shluchim on the way out have to personally hear that declaration of Mekudesh? Explains Tosfos. Well, one point is very simple. If it's the night of the 30th, how could they just run out and declare that it's Rosh Chodesh? They don't know, even if they saw the new moon. Everybody assumes tomorrow will be Rosh Chodesh. There are all kinds of factors at play when it comes to Kiddush HaChodesh. We learned about that yesterday a bit. All kinds of considerations to be taken into account, and they never really know what's going to happen. So they have to wait until tomorrow, day 30. Okay, that explains if Rosh Chodesh is on day 30. Let's say Rosh Chodesh was not on day 30. It's already the night after 30. Why can't they leave town then? They know for a fact that tomorrow will be Rosh Chodesh. No two ways about it. As Tosfos is a gzeira. One on account of the other. If they're going to run out in the second case, they might run out in the first case as well when it's a short month, and perhaps they'll be mistaken. So when it comes to the other months, other than Nisan v'Tishrei, Chacham were not so concerned because at worst case they'll straighten things out later. But here Nisan v'Tishrei, where the Yom Tovim are pending on these dates, here we're more makbid, and they have to wait until they hear Repi Bezdin Mekudesh. So bottom line, getting back to the Mishnah, the way Rashi explained it in the Mishnah, Minat Torah, any aid can come running to Bezdin on Shabbos. It's Deicha Shabbos, as we're going to learn in the Gemara, in the next piece. We learn from our pasuk, it can be Mechal Shabbos for Eidos HaChodesh. But Chacham said, no, don't do it unless there's a real true need. So during the Zman of the Mikdash, there was a need in order to be Makriv Korban Rosh Chodesh B'Zmanoi. So there was an added benefit in doing it in its right time, in its proper time, based on the proper calculations and the sighting of the new moon. After the Mikdash was destroyed, that consideration was no longer present. Chacham made an Isser, except Nisan v'Tishrei, for two reasons. Firstly, once again, the Mayadis are Tali Behem, so there's an added benefit, added Ma'ala, to have the Yom Tovim observed in their proper days. And number two, because this would expedite the dispatching of the Shluchim to Golas. Something which they have to wait. They have to wait to do until they hear repeat Bezdin Mekudesh. So the quicker we get the process going, the quicker they'll be sent out. And include more communities in this information, this knowledge, and allow them to keep their Yom Tov in the proper time. Indeed, how do we know that you can be Mechalel Shabbos on the way to Bezdin? All these Mayadim, Yom Tovim, Rosh HaShanna, should be established in their proper days. So Kriyas HaMoyed, establishment of Rosh Chodesh, should be done even at the expense of Shabbos. Mayadai. The Gemara in Pesachim uses Mayadai, Afilu b'Shabbos, regarding Korban Pesach, Korban Tamid. You bring it in its time regardless, irrelevant of Shabbos or not. Perhaps the same concept. Allowing Chilul Shabbos in order to be Mekadesh the Chodesh, meaning the Edom arriving to Bezdin, keeping Mechalel Shabbos to enable proper Kiddush, Kach Mechalelin, likewise you Mechalel Ashiyskaimu to enable proper observance of the Mayada, meaning the Shluchim on the way out of Bezdin could travel through Shabbos to inform the outlying communities. Tamalaymer no, Asher Tikru Oisam. This is only applying to Tikru Oisam, Al Kriyasam at Mechalel, to be clear, to establish, to declare the Rosh Chodesh. V'yat Mechalel Al Kiyuman, but not to enable proper observance. So on the way to Bezdin, it can be Mechalel Shabbos, but never on the way out. When the Beis Hamikdash was standing, the Edom would travel through Shabbos to enable proper bringing of the carbon. Initially, they would machal for all the Rosh Chodeshim. However, Mishachara Beis Hamikdash, Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai, this is one of his takanos. He says, where's the carbon that we're trying to bring properly? It doesn't apply today, and therefore there's no need to mechalel Shabbos. Hiskinu shelo yumechalelin elal nisam al Tisha B'Av. The Masakin, the only time Chilul Shabbos is allowed on the way to Bezdin is for Nisan v'Tishrei, as we explained. Continues the Mishnah. So we speak about Edom traveling on Shabbos. In all cases, even if the moon is so clear, and perhaps other people saw it in Yerushalayim, there's no need for you to travel? Yes. Bein Shenir Balil, whether the moon was seen clearly to all, in which case there's room to think that perhaps the Bezdin Yerushalayim already saw it. Why are you traveling on Shabbos to tell them? Bein Shaloi Nir Balil, or in a case where it wasn't seen clearly, Mechalin Alavas HaShabbos, you're allowed to be Mechalel Shabbos. Don't take chances, you never know if they saw, if they didn't. We apply a standard rule in all situations. Rabbi Yossi disagrees. Rabbi Yossi, if you know for a fact that the moon was clearly visible to all, we don't make Chilul Shabbos. Why should you be Mechalel Shabbos unnecessarily? Continues the Mishnah with a similar machlekes. Maaseh, there was a story which occurred on Shabbos. More than 40 pairs of Edom were passing through the town of Lud on the way to Yerushalayim. They were traveling on Shabbos to inform the Bezdin that they saw the new moon. Now, you don't really need 40 pairs of Edom for the job. Rabbi Akiva stopped him in Lud. He says, look, where are you going? You don't need so many pairs of Edom to do the same thing. It doesn't justify Chilul Shabbos. Shalach le Rabbi Gamliel sent him a message. What are you doing? If you're going to stop them from going, you're going to dissuade and discourage them in the future. You can make it difficult. People are going to start second guessing themselves. Well, is it really necessary? Perhaps it's somebody else going, and there goes the whole Kiddush HaChodesh. No, you can't make it difficult. Let them all go. This is part of the process. So we have two separate halachas in the Mishnah, which really are based on the same underlying concept. Tanna Kama maintained that even if it's a clear moon, travel on Shabbos, and Rabbi Gamliel maintained the same regarding the multitudes. As many as need to go should go. So So, my mashma dai olel lishna de miglihu. Where do we find that the word olel denotes clarity, revealed, exposed? Amar Ravo, Amakra. It's a pasuk in Tehillim which says, Imaris Hashem, Amaris Taharis. Hashem's words are clear, pure. Ketzef tzaref, like pure silver, be'olel. It's clear to all, clear for all to see. Mezukuk Shivasayim is purified 7 times over. So we see that olil is a lashon of exposure and clarity. The Gemara now brings a machlokes between Rav and Shmuel regarding how to interpret a pasuk. Rav and Shmuel, the Amr Tavai. Chadam, I want to explain like this. This is based on the pasuk I've just learned. Mezukuk Shivasayim. Shivasayim, as Rashi says, is double 7. 7 times 7, 49. So he said like this. Nun shari bina nivru uboilam. There were 50 gates of knowledge, 50 levels of spiritual understanding created in the world. Vikula nitnu l'Moshe chaser achas. All except for one who granted to Moshe Rabbeinu. He achieved the highest state of spiritual comprehension. He rose to the highest levels of the spiritual realms, up to 49, but not the 50th. Shenemar v'atachasreu mat melekim. You give him a bit less than a lekim. So he couldn't get to 50, only to 49. Says Rashi, 3 lines from the bottom. Chamishim sharibin, seifid ha'akro darshi. They're going to dash in the second part of that pasuk which said, mezukuk shivasayim. Rav Shmuel, mezukuk shivasayim, sheva shviyah, 7 sevens. And chamishim chaser achas, 50 minus 1, 49. Shenimsir, that's like the Sfiras Aimer. It's the full, complete gamut of all the various spiritual realms found in the world. So it's 7 times 7. So all those were nimsru l'Moshe l'man shachamishim nivru shaymat nechshem alekim. Apparently it goes up to 50 because he was given one less than the maximum. Rambam explains in Mada, and you see that Torah, he says that Moshe Rabbeinu had almost full comprehension. He understood, but was missing the actual clarity of the thing itself, which means like this. He says, a mashal. You notice a person from far, from behind. So you know, that person must not be that or that person, but I don't actually know who this person is. So he says, Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem tells him, you can view the back, but not not my face. So he says the mashal, the concept there is that Moshe Rabbeinu recognized that Hashem is very different than everything else. Hashem is unlike this, unlike that. But he didn't actually comprehend the true essence of Hashem, upanai, like he recognized a person from the front. So you can say he knew Hashem, he recognized, but by default, not by essence. So that's the point. Up to 49, but not 50, not the true clarity of the essence of Hashem. Continues the Gemara. We find a pasuk in Koheles describing Shlomo HaMelech. Who was Koheles? Bikish Koheles. Koheles Shlomo HaMelech wished limtzoi divrei chayfetz, to find divrei chayfetz. What does this mean? So Rav and Shmuel had this discussion. One of them, either Rav and Shmuel, explained like this: Bikish Koheles lias k'Moshe. When it says that Bikish Koheles pursued divrei chayfetz, he wanted to have the same hasaga, same comprehension like Moshe Rabbeinu. Yotza Baskel v'Amaloi. Baskel rang out and tells him, this is the end of that pasuk of Bikesh Koheles, responded with the words V'kosav Yosher Divrei Emes. What does that mean? Take a look at Sefer HaYosher. This is Sefer Devarim, which has the words V'asisa Yosher v'atoiv, and to do just and righteousness. Now, the Sefer HaYosher tells you the truth, Divrei Emes. What does it say there? We have a pasuk V'loi kam navi oid bi Yisrael k'Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu was a unique one-time phenomenon. There will be no more like him. You can't achieve the same comprehension as Moshe Rabbeinu. Nothing to talk about. So this is one approach. The other one, either Rav or Shmuel, interpreted the pasuk a bit differently. He says, no, b'neviim loy kam. True, the pasuk says, v'loy kam navi oid bi Yisrael k'Moshe. Amongst the neviim, you can't have another Moshe. But melachim kam. But amongst the kings, like Shlomo HaMelech, yeah, you can have one. It's a different type of thing. He's a king. Elamani mekayim bikesh Koheles limtzei divrei chayfetz. What then does the pasuk mean? That Shlomo pursued divrei chayfetz and did not achieve his goal. It means like this: Bikesh Koheles lidoin dinin shebelev. Shlomo HaMelech wanted to wanted to set up court based on his intuition. Dina shebalev, shaloi be'edim, without witnesses, shaloi ba'asro, without warning the perpetrator. He's going to figure out who's guilty, who's innocent, just by his own intuition, his own Ruach HaKodesh, whatever. Yotze Baskel v'Amalei. Baskel comes out and tells him no. Because of Yosha Divrei Emes. Take a look at Sefer Yosha, Sefer Advarim, which contains words of truth, absoluteness. Al Bishnayim Edem. Hashem only allows the Din Torah to be conducted based on the testimony of witnesses and Hasra, warning of the perpetrator. Okay, so once again, let's take a quick look at the daf. We started with the story of Levi who arrived at Bavel, discovered they were eating on the wrong day. So he kept the next Yom Kippur, and they just kept their calendar. Rabbi Yehuda says that a town which lies right beyond the reach of Shluchei Tishrei, but within the realm of Shluchei Nisan, still have to keep 2 days Pesach in order to keep things clear and consistent. Rava actually was machmer to fast 2 days Yom Kippur. We had a story with the Shliach extended Rav Nachman's fast for an extra day. Gemara says that the Shana Muberes will happen once the spring season is too far into Chodesh Nisan. And regarding the sea travelers, as soon as they see the moon setting at sunrise, they have to get rid of their chametz. Apparently, Yudal Ben Nisan has arrived. Now, regarding the Shluchim publicizing the Rosh Chodesh to the outlawing communities, Chilul Shabbos is never allowed. Never. So on the way out of Bezdin, no Chilul Shabbos. What about on the way into Bezdin? We learn from a pasuk, May Adam, Chilul Shabbos is allowed. So during Zman HaMikdash, this is what happened over and over. Every Rosh Chodesh allowed Chilul Shabbos to enable the Korban Rosh Chodesh to be brought in its proper time. But after the Mikdash was destroyed, they canceled that heter and only kept it for Nisan v'Tishrei. 2 reasons. Firstly, the Me'adis are telling them. Number 2, because otherwise you're going to delay the departure of the Shluchim. Have to wait until they hear that formal declaration of Mekudesh HaChodesh. So, Edom on the way into Bezdin could be Mechal Shabbos only for Nisan v'Tishrei. We learned that typically the Shluchim on the way out of Bezdin can leave at night. They don't have to wait for the formal declaration. But when it comes to Nisan v'Tishrei, due to their extra value, Me'adas are telling them they have to wait until they listen and they hear Mekudesh HaChodesh. We have a Mishnah which tells us that according to Tanakama and according to Rabbi Gamliel, in a case where the moon was clearly visible, it was still Mechal Shabbos on the way into Bezdin. Even many groups of Edom are allowed to be Mechal Shabbos. We learned about the Memta Shar Bina achieved by Moshe Rabbeinu. Regarding Shlomo HaMelech, according to one version, he could not achieve that same level. According to the other version, he did. And what he didn't do is to run his Bezdin without Edom, without Asra. All the best to you and much, much Hatzlach.